realize until today when I think I was listening to who was it? First Things First with Nick Wright and Chris Carter. They were talking about how the defense for the Rams really wasn't that great last year as far as like against the run. They were thinking about it like, whoa, they're professionals, but they're right. They're right. A lot of, there were games that the Rams got it handed to them in the running game. So what can you do to help that out? Get people that can stop people, of course. Yes, that's make all the sense in the world. So, and it starts up front. Now, they went from the back to the front at this point, but it starts up front. You're going to line up Ndamukong Suh with Aaron Donald. We already know that is a deadly combination because it's already been talks about how Ndamukong Suh used to draw double teams, Aaron Donald draw double teams and everything. Now, if Ndamukong Suh can be what he, was maybe in Detroit, and he wasn't bad in Miami, but what he was in Detroit, then yes, that is, a duo that you really have to worry about. Then if you got Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib on the corners, you basically got two corners. I'm not going to call them total shutdown corners, but it's not like the quarterback is going to look to the left and see one guy and be like, I'm going to go to the right. No, it's just like, I don't really know if I want to go to either side, and I got to make the best decision, at this point. Now they traded some other guys, to make room for these guys. And Ndamukong Suh is on a 1-year deal, $14 million. So you got to think this is, we'll see how it goes. Maybe it's we don't know if we're going to keep Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, last year, you heard me losing my mind on here saying that they should pay the man. It's time to pay him. He has definitely played over what his rookie contract is. And they got every right to give him a 5th-year option. So they gave him a 5th-year option at this point. So he's trying to get paid next year. So you would think, obviously, they would stick with Aaron Donald before Ndamukong Suh because of the age difference. But this is not what that's about at this point. This is about this year and seeing if they can make a run and really go at it because Jared Goff, as we saw last year, took a step forward, actually 2 steps forward. And then you got Todd Gurley there, and with the run game and you get some wide receivers because they lost both of their wide receivers. You get 2 wide receivers on that team. You're going to run the ball, but a defense helps out the run game, which also helps out Jared Goff and his maturation or maturing into the quarterback that you want him to be, at this point. So with the Ndamukong Suh thing, I like the move. I figured he would go to the Rams at this point, see how it works and then go from there, at this point. So a lot of people are going to be scared in the NFC. Nobody is going to want to play the Rams. Nobody. I haven't even talked about, some of the other players that they got. We're just talking about the people that made the news. And then they're probably not done. And then on the offensive side, a lot of people may not know this name, but Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is a guy that played rookie last year. He played the slot position. He could, with the way Sean McVay designed plays and that whole offense, he could make Cooper Kupp a star, and he'd be all over the place. Now, I'm not going to say Cooper Kupp is going to be, another, Julian Edelman or Amendola or Wes Welker. No, I'm not going to do it. He's going to be Cooper Kupp, but they're going to utilize his talents because Cooper Kupp can play. He is really good, and he had a decent rookie season, and they're only looking at him being better, and you just have to fit into what your system is. You don't have to be anybody else, just whatever your system is, and if they cater to your talents and skills. So the Rams, with the whole Ndamukong Suh, I think this kind of set them over the top to really, really put everyone on notice, and everybody, is going to keep eyes on the Rams at this point, and expectations are going to go even higher than what they already were. So Ndamukong Suh to the Rams. I hope they don't play the Falcons or the Lions this year. I haven't checked the schedule. They probably do. They probably play both of them, but it won't be good. It won't be good. Ugh. Oh, it's scary thinking about it right now. If Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald get off, all right, I'm gonna move on from there. But yeah, it could be a nightmare for a lot of people, and they could give the Eagles and the Vikings a run for their money. And speaking of money, that moves us into and the Vikings. That moves us into our second topic for tonight. Now that things are kind of slowing down because the draft is right around the corner. It's not too far. You may have some, other free agent pickups here and there that nobody will probably really talk about a lot. But the draft is coming up. But for the Vikings, the question is this a Super Bowl or bust, this year? And probably, I guess, for the next 3 years, because you signed Kirk Cousins for 3 years and you're expecting some type of success or some type of Super Bowl if you're a fan, and is it Super Bowl or bust? Super Bowl or bust? Now, Mike Zimmer has said, they're not going to put that. It's not Super Bowl or bust, for the Minnesota Vikings. I don't believe him for one bit, because the first thing is Mike Zimmer is not a guy who just come to the office just to play some good football and have a good time. No, he's there to win. He's there to win a Super Bowl. So you don't get fooled by him saying that. What this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to temper expectations from the fans and the media, trying to, keep that fire, just dimly lit. We don't want a gas fire. We don't want a grease fire, all over the place. And everyone started talking about, Super Bowl or anything like that. Remember Vince Young came out and when they had all those players in Philadelphia, he called himself the super team, or dream team, if you will. And everyone put those expectations on them. And it was nonstop, always asking questions. So what Mike Zimmer is trying to do, is basically, keep it on the low. Now, this is pretty hard to keep on the low when you give a quarterback a fully guaranteed deal, 3 years, $84 million, and now he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. People are going to pay attention to that. That's not something a lot of people are going to miss. And they're going to be like, what? Kirk Cousins got what? When did that happen? Nah, that's not going to happen. So I do believe it is Super Bowl or bust. And it's for a few other reasons as well. One is you were just in the NFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl. It did not basically boil out the way that you wanted it to, but you had success. You had success with Case Keenum. You had success, and I'm just saying throughout the year, Sam Bradford was on the team. You had success. I think they went, 13-3 or something like that for the Minnesota Vikings. But you got to the NFC Championship game with the quarterbacks that you got. Now, you got this new quarterback in Kirk Cousins that you feel is an upgrade from any of the three quarterbacks that you had, because you let all of them walk. If you thought you wouldn't have let all three of them walk if you thought Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Bradford, Case Keenum was the guy. You figured out Kirk Cousins was the guy. So, and I said the same thing about the Falcons. It's Super Bowl or bust. When you go to the Super Bowl, the next year, especially losing, if you go to the Super Bowl, you're not saying, whatever happens next year happens. No. You've experienced it. You got a taste of it. Being in the Super Bowl, at that point, you want to taste that again. So that following year, yes, it is Super Bowl or bust. And it's the same thing for the Minnesota Vikings. It is Super Bowl or bust. You experience being that, let's just all say it was, a miracle or a luck or whatever you want to call it on that Vikings versus Saints game. That got you there and all that stuff, but it happened, and you were playing in the NFC Championship game, and you felt that you were the better team. A lot of people felt you were the better team. You had a dominant defense. It was not like you were just there because everyone covered their eyes and didn't see what was happening. So, and now you've upgraded. You've upgraded according to what you've done in free agency and gotten yourself a better quarterback. You got Adam Thielen coming back. You got Diggs coming back. You lost McKinnon, but it didn't matter because one of those guys was going to have to be gone once when Dalvin Cook gets healthy. So it's going to be Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray, for that team. You got the defense, Harrison Smith, Eric Kendricks, Barr, Rhodes, the list goes on and on. Sendejo, you got a plethora of guys on defense. And the other thing is that you got guys that are on the way to getting paid. You already paid Xavier Rhodes. You already paid, who was that? Harrison Smith, and you got other guys on that defense. So you need to get this done as soon as possible because guess what? They're going to want their money. Eric Kendricks is going to want his money. Anthony Barr is going to want his money. So you're trying to get this done as soon as possible. So yes, it's Super Bowl or bust. Super Bowl or bust. And the final point that I'm going to make on this is why it's Super Bowl. Well, two more. One is you owe it. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the past, and no one is going to doubt that. No one is going to, downplay that. And the city is starving. The state is starving, for the Super Bowl. So that's one point. But the other point, and my last point that I'm going to make, I'm going to take a pause here. I don't know if y'all realize this, notice this. I hope so. Because Vince Wright, the governor of Minnesota, he's been talking about this probably the past 2 years on his show. Minnesota has a new stadium. The Super Bowl was just played there. I can tell you here, living in Atlanta, having season tickets to the Falcons with a new stadium, they do not keep the ticket prices the same price as the old stadium. So, heck yes, it's Super Bowl or bust for those people that are dropping those dollars, those new dollars, and more dollars, additional dollars to go to the game. So they're like, heck yeah, it is Super Bowl or bust. I want this to be worth my time and my money and the energy that I put into it with the Super Bowl. You made all these moves. Yes, Super Bowl or bust. We're not taking anything less than being in the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. I'm telling you. And they're not getting a discount on their food like they do here in Atlanta. They paying that full price, high price for a hot dog that's like $9 or whatever, and all that. Yeah, they want a Super Bowl. So yes, Mike Zimmer can say that all he wants. No one believes it, not even him, not even the players, not even the media and all that stuff. He's just saying what he needs to say to try and get people off his back. But we all know this thing is Super Bowl or bust. That's it. There's no gray area. There's no going around it or anything like that. If the Minnesota Vikings are not in the NFC Championship game again to go to the Super Bowl, the season is a lost season. Season is a lost season. I don't care what you say. Yeah, we had a good season and all that stuff. Yeah, but it wasn't a great season. And with the pieces that you got on this team, you should be looking for great things to happen for this team. Now, things will happen, and uncontrollably if you got injuries and all that stuff. But you cannot tell me there is not. Every person in that locker room is thinking about the Super Bowl. There's not one person that's just thinking, hey, man, we'll just see what happens. No, not at all. So don't listen to Mike Zimmer, man. That guy wants to win. He's intense. He's about his business, and he don't come there every day to play around. He came to win. So Super Bowl or bust for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, someone who hasn't been to the Super Bowl, had been to playoffs, but haven't, won a playoff game is Odell Beckham. And he is in the news, him and the Giants, once again, they're in the news. And it's about the contract whole situation. And I was listening to the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast last night, which is a really good show as well. And you'll hear a promo from them later. But I was listening to them last night, and they were basically just talking about who had the leverage, who,